Yeah, you know who it is in the building. Juiced up, yeah, here we go. Episode 22 with my flow. Gotta bring it to you every intro. It's a freestyle off the top, cause I said so. Episode 22 coming with hot topics. And you know I'm about to drop it. Enjoy the show. Here we go. Yo, welcome to the Juiced Up Show. I'm your host, Jake, Juiced Up Accardo, episode 22 of the program. We're bringing it to you today. The Juiced Up Show is basically ESPN meets TMZ. Two rules of the Juiced Up Show: we don't do politics and we don't do religion, and that's just how it is. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy the show today. We're going to talk a little NBA. In the start, we had the Thunder Cavs game on Sunday, the Boston Lakers game on later in the afternoon on Sunday as well. We had a boxing match Saturday night, Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Barrios from the Barrios. So Mario Barrios. Then we're going to talk a little men's hockey, a little pucky puck, a little slappy slap. You know, men's hockey taking home the gold after, a crazy amount of years. So we're going to talk about that. And then at the end of the show, it's the Juiced Up Takes. All right, so like I said, starting off, we're going to do some NBA. We had the Thunder Cavs game. Cavs have been on a nice roll since they got James Harden, been on a nice little winning streak. They had to play the Thunder. Thunder were down Shea and a couple other players. The Thunder actually started off this game with a very big lead. They got up into the 20s. Cavs were able to fight back, get the lead down to about 4 or 5. Thunder were able to hold on and pull it away. They had a great game by Hartenstein. He did well in the middle. And then overall, the backcourt did a really good job as a collaborative effort, holding down Donovan and also holding down, kind of I wouldn't say like regulating, but definitely containing James Harden. So that was a good game. It was kind of a nice little matchup after the All-Star break, now that we're winding down to the last 30 games of the NBA season. So we'll see, how these two teams finish out. Right now, the Thunder are at the top of the division, are at the top of the conference for the West with the Spurs right behind them. Spurs playing the Pistons tonight. That was also a great game. And then, Boston's at the number 2 seed the Cavs are around that 4 or 5 seed in the East behind New York, and Boston kind of chasing those guys, also with the Raptors as well. So I think that game was kind of like a good little preview for a possible NBA Finals. Thunder held on. They were able to, held on to the lead. But it does makes you a little worrisome if you're a Thunders fan, having a 20-point lead and then kind of just giving it back up to the visiting team. So you definitely want to hold on to those leads, tighten up the defense. Don't get too zoned out or checked out just because you have a big lead. You got to finish the game, especially against the upper echelon talent of the NBA. And then the other game, like I was saying, was Boston and the Lakers. Lakers played the Clippers Clippers coming off a back-to-back, beating Denver by a point. So they look kind of good beating the Clippers in that aspect. But when they played Boston this last, on Sunday, it looked bad. Obviously, the defensive flaws were there. Luka's defense is non-existent. He's now just continuously being called a statue, meaning he don't move. He's there. He's there. You go right, you go left. He's there. He ain't going nowhere. So I think with him, there's rumors that J.J. Redick and LeBron got into it at halftime because Redick was calling LeBron out on his lack of defense as well. So I'm guessing LeBron didn't take likely to that. So the Lakers are kind of a mess right now. They're able to hold it in internally, but I definitely think J.J. Redick has a lot more on his mind and wants to get more off his chest than he's allowed to. Being a head coach, and you got to be a leader of a ball club, and you can't just be Aaron Fools out. This isn't your podcast like you should have stuck to. So, we'll see how the Lakers finish out. It's been well documented all year. They have no defense. Luka plays no defense. LeBron plays no defense. You have no athleticism on the perimeter. You got Austin Reeves, no defense. Not the most athletic guy, but he's pretty athletic. But you don't have guys that are going to go two-way players like a Cade Cunningham. Players like that, I can't think off the top, but even just having a guy like a Cade Cunningham, a Jalen Brunson, guys that are just fighters and grinders that will get down and will play some defense and will suck it up when you need to. The Lakers just don't have that right now. They need more talent on the wings. They need to stop being a prisoner to LeBron James and just get rid of this guy already so you can just move on with your franchise, move on with Luka, and see where you can go forward from there. But Luka's definitely going to need a more solid two guy than a Marcus Smart, who's at the end of his career. I don't know if they thought they hit the jackpot when they signed him, but I hope he's getting the league minimum because he's pretty much washed up and he's going to be in the big three in about a year or so, or hosting his own podcast with other ex-players. So, I mean, the guys that they have on their team, you don't have athleticism, you don't have young talent. You're definitely you got to get rid of LeBron. You got to cut the baggage with him, cut the anchor loose, cut the ball and chain loose. Just get rid of this guy, get a fresh start for Luka. And I think that's where it begins. Is you got to get rid of LeBron. This guy's just too much. He's a prima donna. He's a diva. And it's just right now, everything's for show with him. He doesn't have nothing else to prove in his career. He just wants to stay relevant and stay on TV and be talked about because he's been talked about for the last 20 years of his career. So I think that's where you start. You got to cut bait with LeBron for sure. All right, so this past Saturday, jumping into boxing, we had Ryan Garcia coming back off a little hiatus, fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC title, I believe it was. Let me check my notes. Hold on. Papers are stuck together. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? All right, so yeah. So it was for the WBC title. This was Ryan Garcia's first belt that he won. He came out in the first round swinging pretty hard. He hit him with a nice overhand right to the top of the head. Boom, right here. Knocked him down. And that was like in the first 23 seconds of the fight. So not a good start for Barrios. He definitely seemed overwhelmed, overpowered. Ryan Garcia came in with a pretty nice physique. He looked pretty built. He definitely had more muscle on his – it looked like he had more muscle than Barrios did. And Ryan Garcia came out pretty pumped up. He was throwing these big overhand rights and just like Barrios couldn't counter him. He couldn't do anything against him. He was kind of just, balling up and ducking. And at the end of the fight, Ryan Garcia called out Shakur Stevenson, who just got done putting on a clinic with Teofimo. We went over that when Juiced Up the Hard Way with my co-host B Livity. We talked about that fight, and he put a clinic. Shakur Stevenson put on a clinic with Teofimo. I think if Ryan Garcia comes out swinging like he did against Shakur Stevenson, it's going to be counter city all day. It's going to be Ryan Garcia on his heels all day, because if you come in with these crazy overhand rights and crazy straight rights against Shakur Stevenson with his defense, and he'll counter against you. He was very offensive against Teofimo. They even shrink the ring for that fight. So I feel like calling out Shakur Stevenson is a big you have some cojones. You got some cojones. I'm not gonna discredit that, but I think he's gonna be in for Ryan Garcia is gonna be in for a big challenge against Shakur Stevenson. So hopefully they can work that fight out and they can get that handled, and maybe we can see that still at the end of 2026 or maybe even in the summer, with it still being February. So hopefully Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia can lock that fight down. I didn't really see how Mario. I'm not a big boxing follower. That's more from my guy B Livity, but I didn't really see how Mario Barrios was even a title holder with the way he performed in that fight. I mean, he looked so overwhelmed. He underperformed. He didn't fight like how you would think a championship fighter would fight, with some heart, trying to come out swinging, trying to win the fight, and he wasn't doing any of that. So, that's kind of just how boxing is. They have a lot of belts. A lot of guys that have belts probably shouldn't have them. And so, I thought that was just a dominant fight by Ryan Garcia from the first round to the last round. He took the cards handily. It was a no-brainer. And he's just going to have to tighten up some things when he's going to fight, if he's going to really fight Shakur Stevenson, because with that defense, he's not going to be able just to throw wild right hands like he did. So we'll keep an eye out for that fight and see when they end up signing the contract for that. All right, moving on to the next topic, men's Olympic hockey. They had their gold medal game on Sunday. Ended up beating Canada. They ended up beating Canada 2-1 in overtime. It was a 3v3. So overtime hockey Olympics, you go 3 versus 3 on overtime. So it speeds up the game a little bit better. You're not going to be there for like a 4-hour game or however long it could have ended up being if everyone was on the ice. For the hockey purists, a lot of them weren't happy with this rule. The Canadian manager, head coach, he took it on the chin. He said, "Hey, we all knew the rules when we signed up. It is what it is. We lost the game fair and square, and that's just how it is." So he took it on the chin like a man. He took his loss like a man. He took it humbly. He didn't whine. He didn't bitch. The men's goalie had 41 out of 42 saves, some clutch saves. If you've seen the replays, he had one reaching back with his stick. knocking the puck out. So that guy was the main reason, other than the guy Jack Hughes that scored the game-winning goal. But he was one of the main reasons why they were in the game to begin with and why they got to overtime. So the goalie having 41 saves, bravo to you, my friend. That is a great freaking game. 41 saves. Jack Hughes, no tooth, missing the front and everything, looking like a pirate out there, looking like Jack Sparrow, not Jack Hughes, missing the front, out there smiling his freaking face off because he's happy as shit. Hit the game-winning goal, one-timer, five-hole is for you non-knowing hockey fans. Is right between the legs. Put the biscuit in the basket. So hit it right there, one-timer, boom, 5-hole, goal! It's a wrap. USA, gold medal. We did it, baby. Hockey, men's hockey, women's hockey. We did it. Gold medals. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. And this was great. Everyone in the country was hyped. Everyone was excited. Everyone, I felt like in America, was on the same page finally, and everyone could be happy about something together, and no one could poo-poo on it. And the only way you could poo-poo on it is if you're just a miserable ass person. So it was a great game to watch. I caught the last end of the third period, and then I watched the whole overtime, and it was great to see us. The USA Olympics, we did really well. We placed second in total medals. I think it was behind like Norway or someone. So we're getting better in these cold games. We got the summer all locked. Summer all locked, homie. USA gold every time in the summer, homie. But the winter games, we're getting there. We're treading in the right direction. We're treading in the right direction. We're getting these medals in the winter games. Figure skating back on the map with Alyssa Liu hitting her gold medal. I watched her performance. That shit was redunculous. She did a great job. Bravo to her. And it was a great time. It was a great time in our country. A lot of people tuned into the games. I usually don't. And I'm happy that, America performed well and we did great for our country. So bravo to all the Olympians, everyone that performed for America. Hats off, hat tip. Cheers, like all the fucking cornballs say in the office when they write their little emails. Cheers. Anyways, so that was awesome to see that. And Jack Hughes, a young player, and that was just a great game. First gold medal in 42 years. Since we beat the Russians with college kids. These are actually pros now, but we beat the Russians with college kids. And that wasn't even for the gold. The next game was the goal. So the Miracle on Ice didn't even get us the gold medal. It was the next game that no one even really cares about back in the 82 Olympics or whatever it was, 84 Olympics. So that was great. Congratulations again. And now, at the end of the show, it's the Juiced Up Takes. All right, first juiced up take. A lot of stuff on social media, and I listen to Stephen A. Smith on the radio and on First Take, and there's a lot of stuff about him trying to run for president. And if I'm a friend, if I was in Stephen A.'s inner circle, family, friends, I would tell him, bag the idea. Don't do it. You're going to realize more people hate you than really like you because there's some motherfucking hillbillies out there in bumfuck Egypt that heard of your name and just want to spit on the game. So I would advise him, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your ego. Don't do it to your career. Because how can you can't bounce back to First Take after you get bounced out of running for president? Like, there's no way. Or if you get bounced on a real debate stage in politics and, some chick like Jasmine Crockett, that black girl, and she eats your ass up on a debate stage, you don't want that smoke, Steven. Just keep your ass on ESPN, keep your ass running your own shows, and just keep making that money, man. Because if you go for president, you talk about tax breaks, my friend. You're going to need more than tax breaks with that low-ass income you're going to be getting. So Stephen A. Smith running for president, bag it, don't do it. That's my advice to him, and that's the first juiced up take. Next juiced up take. It was just announced tonight, fresh off the press. Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao 2. This just seems like a delayed-ass sequel to a movie like Top Gun, how they made the sequel like 30 years later or whatever. That's what this seems like. It's like they're going to fight in the Sphere in Vegas because that's the only way they're going to draw the crowd. And this fight is probably about, I want to say maybe like 15 years overdue. Like, why? Like, this, when I first saw this announcement that Pacquiao Mayweather 2 in the Sphere, I was like, who's the brokest one out of both of these guys? Because that's the only solution I could come up with why they would fight. And then Floyd doing an exhibition against Mike Tyson. So I guess that's the answer to the question in itself. I think Floyd's going a little broke right now. I think he's having some financial issues. He's doing a lawsuit against Showtime for his ex-business partner or manager ripping him off for like hundreds of millions of dollars. So I feel like Floyd's pockets are getting a little light. He's taking some L's on the parlay bets, on the straight up bets, and I think he needs to do these fights for financial reasons, which is pretty unfortunate because there was a 5-year period where this guy was boxing. The 24/7s before the boxing matches, he did all that. Floyd started 24/7 and it ended when Floyd was done boxing. So Floyd had that nice run with the De La Hoya, the Canelo fights, the other fights that he had at Ricky Hatton, all the other big fights he had under his belt. He fought old boy from the UFC. So I feel like Conor McGregor. So I feel like with how much money he made in that time frame and then how he was just advertising and showing off his wealth and not being humbled about it, I feel like Floyd got in over his head. He's a little broke right now, and he's still having to box to this day because he don't know anything else. And so it's kind of unfortunate. I will watch the fight. It will be for free, straight bootlegged. But I'll check it. I'll keep an eye on the fight. But it's just really unfortunate that these guys are they're gonna box each other like in their 50s. So, it is what it is. It's pathetic. It's sad. I'll watch it because that's what they want. They want the focus on them. They want some attention. They need the money. So, yeah, I mean, who wins that fight? We'll talk about it when it gets closer. But Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao 2 coming in September at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And that's my second juiced up take for the day. I hope you enjoy the show. That was episode 22. Make sure you guys hit like, hit subscribe, comment, share. Email me at email me the juicedupshow@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know any suggestions you have, any comments, and I will get back to you. Episode 23, probably dropping later this week. Peace and love. Have a good night.